Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the SH Figuarts Dragon Ball Z TURLES, or that. And this guy's a PB release, Premium Bandai exclusive, so comes in a little bit higher price point, and a little bit harder to come by, especially after the fact. And they haven't been really delivering that well lately. The gammas are pretty good, but a lot of the other figures have been a little bit of a disappointment when they came with that PB labeling. This guy, on the other hand, is pretty darn good. There's a lot to talk about here, so let's go ahead and get him off the stand and take a closer look. This guy stands roughly to where his head would be, about 5.5 inches, to the top of the hair closer to like 6 3/8. That's going to be roughly, let's say, 14.5 centimeters, and then 16.5, right around there. Here he is up against Darwin. We'll do Darwin first. So, including the hair, he's a little bit taller, but not counting the hair because that doesn't work for scaling. He's about 0.9 Darwins, 0.85 maybe Darwins. And here he is up against Goku. This is the Saiyan Raised on Earth Goku. I don't think we have a Goku release that accurately fits this movie. I could be remembering incorrectly, but I guess you could do the Kaioken version, huh? Anyway, they're all about the same size. So he's just a touch, just the ever so slight touch taller than Goku, not counting the hair. I think he could probably use to be just a little bit taller than that, but he definitely has the bulk, so I'll take it. But I do want to talk about the aesthetic, but first we have to do a question of the day. Question of the day is, which Dragon Ball movie is your favorite? It could be the new ones if you want, it could be the old ones, any kind you want is fine. I'm going to have to say I really like Tree of Might because it's the first Dragon Ball thing I ever watched. So this figure is kind of a fun one for me, being that I knew about him before I knew about anything else in Dragon Ball. So that's kind of cool. Okay, real quick before we do anything else, I have to talk about what's going on tonight. Saturday, the 25th, if you're not watching this on the day of its upload. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the channel, we are celebrating the milestone of reaching 200,000 subscribers. It's going to be a live Q&A and a giveaway, so make sure you tune in to that, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, aesthetically speaking, he is supposed to have a darker skin tone than Goku. I think they might have gone a bit far. I mean, if you go back, I'll see if I can find a screenshot. Their skin tones are not supposed to be that far off. Now, granted, his is a little bit more yellow than it is in the anime or in the movie, but his is very brown. It's like a very taupe, almost like a milky coffee color. It's a little bit dark, I would say. I don't mind it as much, but a lot of that movie was set in the dark, so maybe they did that, but it's still too dark. The skin is definitely too dark. So that's, you know, if you hate that, then it's a problem. If you don't hate it, it's not a problem. That's up to you, but it is officially or objectively too dark. There is shading throughout the skin, so I like that. I don't care for the fact that the knees are a grossly different color. Like, not even close. There's so much paint on the skin parts that the knees, since they didn't get painted, stand out. It looks ridiculous. Same thing is technically true for the inner elbows, but it's a lot less noticeable in there. But the knees are horrible looking. Hate that. Luckily, the rest of the figure looks pretty good, but that is not okay. The paint job for all the armor is nice. We have a nice glossy finish for these parts, and matte finish everywhere else, and then the colored spots are painted well. Hands are painted well. Boots are painted well. Very pleased with all that. I like that they're shading on the skin. The hair, I think, is sculpted wonderfully. The face, too. This might be the best face they've ever done on a Saiyan. It's really nice. They really, really got the right look down. Love that. And then the scouter is really well done, too. So, other than the discoloration of the knees and elbows, and then, of course, of the skin in total, it's a really good-looking figure. One of the better ones that they've released in a long time. Which is... I mean, they've done some good ones for sure, but this one does look really, really nice. So I'm going to give this one an aesthetic rating of 8. It could definitely be better. The really good things are much higher than an 8, but those bad things do bring it down. Now, we do have a good bit of accessories too, so let's go ahead and do that. For the faceplates, we have the smiling one that comes on him in the package. Then we get one with his teeth gritted, one where he's sticking out his tongue, and then one where he's yelling. They all look wonderful. They've been done very well. We have a bunch of hands, 2 fist hands that come out in the package, 2 different sets of style pose hands, one hand where he's holding his tree fruit, and then 2 more style pose hands with holes in them. Those holes are for these 2 different acrylic rods. to hold the effect part, which is very nice. I love the way they did the effect part. It looks wonderful. It's one of the better looking ones that they have released in this line. So I'm very pleased with that. We also get some folded arms. Didn't have any trouble swapping them out. I tested them ahead of time. The sculpt is a little weird in the fingers selection that's showing. I guess on this hand right here. Here, I'll zoom in and show you so you can actually see. This makes sense because you could argue that there are fingers underneath the arm. This hand doesn't make sense because he's just missing half his hand and fingers. Because that would just be up against his chest. So it's a little bit weird. You won't notice it on the display, but it's definitely strange. And then lastly, you get his cape, which I love that they did this in a solid piece in soft plastic. No hinges, no weird stuff like we've seen on Piccolo's capes and Gohan's Gamma 2 cape. This is just nice. I love the soft plastic. It's just going to sit there and look good when you put it on him. I can't tell. I don't think there's shading on it, but it kind of looks like there is. But it's so subtle, it's hard to tell if it's just shadows, actual shadows or shading. So very nice accessories, very pleased with that. The only thing we're missing really is a display stand. So I'll go 9.5 out of 10 for those accessories. That is a good assortment. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the articulation. The head, haha, double ball peg. Could use bigger balls, who couldn't, but it definitely is a double ball peg, and so it poses nicely, very organically. The neck is on a single ball peg, so you can just move it however you want it, and it'll be where you put it, and that's good. You don't have to worry about fiddling with hinges and swivels and stuff. It just goes, and that's exactly how they should do it. Now, I heard a lot of people talking about these because some people got theirs faster than I did. I ordered just like you guys do, Premium Bandai, and I can't help when my stuff comes. But these shoulder pads, so like they're better technically, I guess, than a lot of the Saiyan armor where it's just has the hinge that folds up. These guys have a ball hinge that let them go back and like move in slightly other ways, but it's mostly just back. So it's like, is it better? I guess technically, if you want to bring his arms across his chest, you can do that, sort of. And then these are still sticking out to the side. So that might look better once you pose it, I guess. Like that makes sense, but it's still not good enough. They need to start including separate shoulder pad pieces, like this whole piece. Shoulder pads and chest, just like they did for Jace. Where it's just distorted like it would be in the anime, so that you can get him in the pose you want without having these weird gaps and things. And these pieces don't even fit that well together. It's like there's always some kind of little gap. You won't notice it, of course, but I'm not in love with this design. Is it a step in the right direction? I guess. But really, you need just separate pieces, because this doesn't get you there. You still have weird gaps and stuff. And as soon as you lift that up, it's just skin tone, so it's weird. It's not enough. I'm glad that they're thinking about it, but it's not enough. Butterfly joint is more like a Storm Collectibles joint where it just goes all over the place, so that's cool. It helps with posability. Then you get your ball peg connecting to that, and your hinge in your shoulder, so you can raise the arm up plenty. But you see how the shoulder pad is even worse now than it used to be? In some ways, at least. It's just, this is not the answer to the problem that they had. So, you have good range in the shoulders, but you really don't want to use them because those shoulder pads. Of course, you have your full rotation. Bicep swivel is fine. Double jointed elbow works really well. No problem there. Wrists are on ball hinges as you would expect, so that's all standard. That's all fine. Torso articulation. I don't believe there's a hinge. If it is, it doesn't lift up like some of the other hinges do. It just seems to rock back and forth, so I can't quite tell. But he leans back nicely. He leans forward pretty well. Not a ton, but a little bit. And then side to side. Earlier I couldn't get it to do anything side to side, so let's see. Yeah, it just kind of rotates. I don't know what the side to side, I don't know what the engineering is in there. I can't see in there, and I'm not going to pull on it to find out. But it doesn't really go side to side very well. It just rotates a little bit. And then can you rotate the abdominal section? You can. These guys will move with the abdomen. So that's okay, I guess. Abdomen does lean a little bit forward and back. A little bit side to side, but not much. So these guys are just on the same hinges as before. We'll see how that works. Bringing the legs forward. It's not going to look great, but you can do it. There's not a whole lot they can do unless they're just going to give you a million different pieces of the armor plates. So I don't mind the legs as much, but the shoulder ones I think we definitely need to change. So yeah, he can kick forward all the way. Going back, it's very limited because they sculpted the butt cheeks. Please get rid of the butt cheeks. Can we start a petition? No more butt cheeks. On the Dragon Ball figures, I want to be able to do full-on splits. Forward and back splits. Don't need that. Don't need the butt cheeks. Alright, and going out to the side, pretty good splits. I'll take that. Joints are nice and tight, by the way, also. Thigh swivel is fine. Double jointed knee, despite the discoloration, does function nicely, so that's good. And then for the ankles, what do we have in there? Little ball hinge. It's way too small, so you have very little range. It goes that far back. Basically no far forward at all, no far. And then the pivot, the ankle rocker is bad too, because that little tiny ball hinge in there is way too small. You're not gonna be able to see it because it's so dark in there, but it's way too small. Toe hinge, on the other hand, is okay because they did it so that it actually is flush-ish. So that's good. It's good enough. Weird things though, the ankle ball hinge being so tiny. The shoulder pad, like, they redesigned everything, but it's still a problem, so I don't know why they bothered. So you're not going to be able to use the shoulders or the ankles as well as you would like, but the rest of it works pretty well. I'll give the articulation on this guy a 7. It's average for SH Figuarts. It's nothing impressive, it's nothing bad. It'll get the job done in most cases. So, time for the final verdict on this guy. It looks really good. When he's not up against Goku directly, I don't think the dark skin matters that much, but it is so dark when you put them side by side. It's really, really noticeably dark because Goku is so pale and almost fluorescent. So, it's a little bit of a weird thing, but I think this figure is gorgeous overall. The knees definitely are a problem, but the rest of it does look pretty good. It poses well enough and has cool accessories, so I'm satisfied. I'm going to give this guy an overall rating of 8 out of 10. It's a strong release. If you're into TURLES, if you're into this sort of looking character, go ahead and track one down. You're going to enjoy it. But it does have those problems that I mentioned, so you'll know about those when you make your purchase, and you won't be disappointed. The tail just sits there, by the way, doesn't really do anything. So that'll do it, guys. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you should. I have new videos almost every single day, and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. In the meantime, keep collecting.